26 million views. 26 million views could translate to nearly $100,000. 26 million views that could get you on national news. 26 million views that will keep rising. 26 million views, all from a fake.
That might have been the cheesiest thing I've ever done, but it sums up the stakes that we're at right now. Because you watch a video like Josh Parlin's homeless experiment and you might feel good at first, but then you actually start to think about it and you're left with a lot of questions. A lot of questions Josh Parlin probably doesn't want answered. In order to fully understand this situation, we need to go back a little farther though. On March 4th, 2014, Magic Rahat proves that a struggling YouTube channel, specifically a prank channel, can be rejuvenated by helping a homeless person and recording it on camera. Whatever his initial intentions were, his daily video views and his profits spiked with the video's popularity not only on YouTube but also on national news. On October 1st, Rob Anderson will prove this to an extreme, as a YouTuber who was struggling to top 10,000 views on most of his videos gets 7 million afterwards after, again, helping a homeless person on camera. On October 9th, Josh Parlin posts a missing eyeball prank, seemingly simple enough, but keep this in mind for later. On October 19th, 2014, True Story ASA, a prank channel, showing a New York City cop assaulting two Muslims in what appears to be simply because of what they were wearing. I was planning on spending a small part of this video debunking this because it's clearly fake, but I didn't need to. Shortly after the attention on their video, they updated their description stating, "This video is a dramatization of previous events that occurred to us in our tradition clothing while filming in New York City. This video is not against the NYPD, it's just an example of what we have to go through sometimes when filming in New York City. This is to raise awareness for racial profiling." While this is an issue entirely in and of itself with so many problems right there, it shows that the YouTube community can easily be fooled into a fake social experiment type of video, while the creator reaps the rewards. Now, December 22nd, 2014, Josh Parlin posts a video of him giving a homeless person $100, then the homeless man spends it to give to others, and the rest is history. But how do all these tie into the homeless video? Well, Josh Parlin isn't an idiot. He obviously is seeing the publicity that people get from these homeless videos, and similar to Magic Rahat, he's losing viewers, the only difference being Lynn is in a more desperate situation. After averaging 337,000 views per day in the summer, he declined nearly 6 times that amount to 59,000 per day in November. You can also see that YouTubers can get away with fake pranks, or at least a misleading video, such as in the case of True Story ASA, Jack Vale posting a fake prank with police, and even himself. Yes, his eyeball prank has had an actor speak out. His YouTube channel, the name Clem the Ranter, you can check that out. He claims Josh Parlin instructed him how to react and agreed to give his channel a shout out, which he never did. This would make sense for the majority of people laughing or acting strangely out of character in the video, especially considering somebody's eyeball appears to have been ripped out, and it was a pretty convincing special effect. While at the same time it's apparent that nobody calls 911, even though multiple people supposedly ran away from the situation and never returned. They never called to help him? Pretty bad people that this guy encountered. Now, if he is willing to do it once and fake a video, how could it surprise you that he would want to fake a video again? So let's move on to the number of problems with the actual video. If you've seen my previous video on this, my main focal points were, why did this guy decide to go to a liquor store? How did he not notice he was being followed? How would they know he was going to spend the money immediately? And more importantly, why would you be exploiting a homeless person in the first place? Now, most of those points are fine on their own, but there's a few that I want to dig deeper into, and a few others that I want to actually address. Now, with the amount of time and distance traveled, Josh Parlin certainly did a little exaggerating. He says he followed the guy for miles in a couple hours, as he says here in the description, which other people would probably find creepy if they actually did notice him. But anyways, through the power of technology, we were able to map out his actual journey with just a few Google searches. We can... let's see the rest of the distance. Okay, I guess that's a little better. In all seriousness, I have to give credit to YouTube user BY_AZ for linking a mapped out page of Thomas's journey, which based on the locations he ended up in, probably wouldn't even have taken a single hour of walking. And maybe Josh Parlin doesn't do a lot of exercise, but it didn't even hit 2 miles in the total distance. But, you know, as he said, many miles traveled. Anyways, that's not the only thing we can learn from Google Maps. Because of Street View, we can literally see the journey he took to get to both locations step by step. And this is going to add to the confusion of why exactly he chose the liquor store. As BYZ again points out, there's a Food 4 Less about the same distance away, just north of where he was. Now, if this guy wanted to spend his lucky $100 as wise as possible, why wouldn't he go to Food 4 Less, which, as the name implies, is less? Now, people might say he didn't know it was there, which is kind of stupid considering he's probably been in that area for a while, or that he just didn't feel like it, which is equally stupid. So if you're not convinced by that, I understand. But then why does he ignore 3 other places he could have easily gotten cheap food? Seriously, what's going on? He passes right by a Del Taco, Jack in the Box, and a gas station, along with another gas station close by. Again, I can understand if you're not convinced with the first 2 because maybe he wasn't in the mood for fast food, but otherwise, what the heck? What's so special about this liquor store? You have to go out and assume that the liquor store is more expensive than this gas station, and he conveniently passes by. What was he thinking? Was he just not in the mood to spend his money immediately, yet changed his mind 2 minutes later? There's zero explanation for this. I'm not trying to make fun of this homeless guy. It just shows that Josh Parlin had clearly planned this out with the liquor store idea. To add one last thing to his actual journey, if the plan of the video was to humiliate homeless people, more on that in a second, then why did they wait to expose him? In the description it says that he thought the video would be an exposing homeless people video. Then why did he wait 1.5 miles and at least 30 minutes to expose him? And he didn't even expose him until he saw what he did with what he bought. What was he waiting for? If he bought alcohol, it's a moot point. It's obvious what he was going to do with it. If he was waiting to catch him on camera drinking it, then you know either A, this guy is the world's biggest douchebag for humiliating this guy and giving him $100 he expected him to spend poorly. And again, he had no clue how long he would be waiting for him, especially since they're on foot. And why would he risk the possibility of the homeless guy seeing him in that entire time? Either Lin uses the world's worst logic making this video, or, in actuality, he faked it. And this is what makes this situation all the more worse, is how he's parading this homeless person around now like he's a dog for a dog show. I mean, his original plan was to exploit him, and he's still doing that, except in new and spectacular ways. You know, instead of humiliating him on camera for how he spends his money, now he's taking pictures of this guy all dressed up and making national news appearances off of him. Oh, but make sure you don't ask about the homeless guy, because even though he is with Lin is making sure that he's not involved with the media at all. Well, wait a minute. So you make a video featuring this homeless guy, yet you're the only one who's allowed to make TV appearances? Don't you think it would be exciting for him? I mean, I'm sure he'd be able to answer a lot of questions, or do you not want those answered? Are you afraid he'll slip up and say the wrong thing? Because it isn't that the homeless guy doesn't want to. In an interview with Voca TV, he said he wouldn't let anybody speak with him. There are a lot of other interesting things we can take away from this interview as well. For example, Josh Parlin was asked on how the public can be certain all of the money will go to Thomas, to which he says his lawyers and managers have covered. Yet asked if any of them could talk to them or even learn their names, he said all of it was confidential and that he wasn't going to let them talk to the public either. So, alright, let me get this straight. We just donated to you $120,000 to go to a homeless guy, yet you can't let the homeless guy or the people in charge of handling the money talk to the public? Now, I'm not saying he's pocketing all the money for himself, but it's pretty suspicious that he's picking and choosing what info he makes public and private, as well as keeping Thomas in the dark about the whole situation. Especially as soon as money becomes involved, especially this much, I think we have the right to know all this. Yet amid all this, Josh Parlin also seemed to get hostile when asked about the possibility of the video being fake, saying, "Anyone who thinks that hasn't ever met the kinds of people who are out there on the street," he said. "There's no way we're making this up. This is real. They don't know Thomas. They don't know his whole story." Well, yes, Josh, you're right. We don't know the whole story, but maybe that's because you won't tell us! He's getting mad at us for not knowing the whole story, yet it's him who's keeping Thomas from explaining the whole story. It is him who is holding back the uncut footage of that entire day. It is him who is, dare I say it, lying. Now, I'll be perfectly happy if this whole event changes Thomas's life, and hopefully it does. I just can't believe that we believe the lies YouTubers constantly feed us about their true intentions, even when they stick it right in our face. You can continue to blindly support these liars just because you're in denial the feel-good story you wanted to believe was a lie. Or you can stop watching these view-hungry channels. You can stop sharing their misleading videos. And maybe eventually, YouTubers will stop exploiting these unsuspecting people for personal gain. And if you have any doubt in your mind at all at this point, just listen to what he said in his latest video.
So make sure you guys subscribe so you get a notification when I post the next big, huge surprise that's coming up soon.
Well, I mean, he might as well have just come out and said it. I mean, I'm exploiting this person. He literally says, subscribe to me because I have this homeless person in my videos. What else do you have to hear? What else do you have to hear? That's all I have to say, guys. See you.